On the 26th of April 2016, we, as a group of East Glynneath residents, approached Councillors Eddie Jones and Del Morgan about the excessive tipping by the Cuddy Group that we felt were threatening our safety. The following email was forwarded by the councillors to the Neath Port Talbot Council Planning Department. Dear Councillor, I wonder if you could pass on this email to the correct department within the Neath Port Talbot Council. Several neighbours and I are concerned about the actions of the Cuddy Group on the land behind our houses. It seems that Mr Cuddy is intent on building mountains of soil which in the event of a storm may dislodge and create a flood risk to our properties. He has in the last few years diverted the stream which runs to the north of Bryn Hyfryd 3 times, each time closer to our properties. While doing this, he is continually building a steep wall of loose, unstable soil on the upper side. On speaking to Mr Cuddy about this, he is adamant that it is his land and he will do what he wants with it. The mountain of soil he is building behind our properties is gradually attaining Aberfan proportions and is causing concern for all of us living in its shadow. Should there be even a small landslip, then the stream will block and all of our properties will be in danger of flooding. In heavy rain, this stream is a raging torrent and would in less than 24 hours build into a dangerous body of water. Other concerns are that he is uprooting well-established trees. I know there are some protected ones within the vicinity, and he is also disturbing the ground near an underground high-voltage electricity line. A source within the Cuddy Group has indicated that the group have no intention of building houses on this land, that the land is of more value to the Cuddy Group as an area for waste disposal and the placement of houses on the site is a cover for the disposal of this waste. It is our concern that the Cuddy Group will continually dump soil and rubble on the land until there is an accident or disaster. I would ask that the Council undertake a feasibility study as to whether or not the land is suitable for housing. I would ask also that the Council undertake a risk assessment or investigation to ascertain whether Mr Cuddy's actions are of a dangerous nature to our persons and our properties. I would also ask that they ask the Cuddy Group to delay any work on this land until this assessment investigation is undertaken. Yours sincerely, David Richards, on behalf of the following residents of Bryn Hyfryd. Residents list not included for privacy reasons. On the 28th of April, Councillor Jones replied to say that an enforcement order had been placed on the Cuddy Group by the Neath Port Talbot Council. In January 2017, the Cuddy Group applied for planning permission to increase the height of their excessive tipping a further 5 metres. Considering the height was still at the same as it was 8 months previously when the enforcement order was placed on the group, the proposed plans were evidently ridiculous in their concept but still put forward by the Neath Port Talbot Planning Department for approval. The draft of a letter to an extended group of local residents was emailed to Councillor Del Morgan for his attention and possible input. The draft included information about the Cuddy Group using unusual methods of tipping which were deemed suspicious. What I was seeing from a vantage point on the Intervalley Road was a machine digging deep holes, lorries arriving and tipping into the holes, and then the holes being filled over. It was clearly a cover-up operation of one sort or another. The draft letter included the following paragraph. There are also possible health hazards. We just don't know what has been tipped on this land. Only last year, the Cuddy Group were acting suspiciously, digging holes, Lorries then tipped into the holes, then the holes were filled in. If they were tipping ordinary soil, why would the Cuddy Group do this? A reply was received from Councillor Morgan suggesting the removal of the word suspiciously. I removed the word and other information in my communication to residents, but since 2017 the following information has come to light which brings into question why Councillor Morgan would suggest to remove the word and not initiate an investigation into the activities of the Cuddy Group. Nigel Taylor lives overlooking the site, and he was an eyewitness to similar tipping and also to barrels of chemical substances being tipped at the site.
Over the last 18 years since I lived here, obviously the back garden, also the back of the house, is overlooking the tip as I'm on top of Glynneath Hill. I get out several times in the night to use the toilet, and I've seen in the past a number of lorries dumping in the pitch dark. Also at one time with Cuddy and Company, they kept a machine over there. Obviously by day the man would turn up and bury everything. I've also been over there for a walk around early in the morning. I've seen large metallic barrels, asbestos, and everything thrown there.
Are you familiar with asbestos?
Yes, but it's removed from the house over the years. These are broken down bits which have been pushed down into the ground.
And the barrels were on top of the ground, not in the ground?
Yes. They were left there until the man turned up about 8, and I think he worked till about 2 or 3. And obviously they were pushed down into the ground, and then you'd have more lorries by day. Generally they'd work in the summer. Don't ask me where they come in from. I'm maybe filling up, raising up the tip, but burying all the waste underneath.
And how far are you away from these barrels when you were looking at them?
Oh, well, I walked up the hill,
So
onto the tip, give him a kick, I could feel it.
So you actually kicked the barrels, yeah?
They weren't empty dye,
Yeah.
they were full.
Yeah.
Nigel insists that he informed local councillors of Cuddy's activities, including Del Morgan. Councillor Chris Williams, Del Morgan's fellow Plaid Cymru councillor, lived 2 houses away from Nigel, and his wife died an unnatural death living there. Councillor Williams moved from the area a short while after this and refuses to share information on the cause of her death. Councillor Williams is a member of the Planning Committee who recently approved the Planning Permission for the Enzo development despite being made aware of hidden contamination at the site. If we look again at the paragraph in question, it shows that the Cuddy Group were acting suspiciously, and as such I believe it would have been relevant to inform the residents bordering the site of this. At the time in question, Del Morgan was an acquaintance. He was a member of the same pub quiz team, and I sat next to him regularly. He attempted to recruit me for Plaid Cymru, and in the next breath regaled stories about watching the Ospreys in the hospitality section. He would mention about picking up his Ospreys tickets from an unspecified source, which at the time seemed unusual. The Ospreys were owned at the time by the Cuddy Group. We would like an answer from Del Morgan to the following question. Based upon the information provided to you in 2016 and 2017, and the additional information of which you were already aware at the time, for example, barrels of potential toxic waste at the site and natural deaths in houses bordering the site, why did you suggest removing the word suspiciously? Why did you suggest removing the word suspiciously?